Dusty Futon podcast is a product of the Dusty Futon LLC and Dusty Futon Productions. Go to dustyfuton.com for more information. Welcome to another episode of the Producer's Corner, where we love talking to producers of music and diving into how and why they do what they do. This episode features Rodney Dixon, also known as Merc, the Master of Seven. He's been sitting on a gold mine of music for over 20 years, and he brings it out to the public just now. This producer is finally able to put these tracks out. He talks about his Solartainment, his solar superhero Atoma, and his overall clean energy that he injects into his music. Let's jump right into the episode with Merc, the Master of Seven. It'll be just a minute, I guess.
Right.
Welcome anyway. We'll go get started here. So let's do a quick mic check again.
Mic check, 1 2.
No, that's Did you just drop the bass out of your voice?
1 2 1 2.
There we
go. You go. You can always fix it in the reverb. Mix.
I always fix it in post. So
right. I was reading about this story. That's pretty cool.
What, the Futon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like what we do?
That's cool.
Hey, thanks for reading up on us, man.
Yeah.
That's always a plus when somebody checks us out before they come on the show.
Right.
Believe it or not, that doesn't happen that often.
Right.
So you're Rodney.
That's correct.
And you created this. So this is a project that we're talking about. This isn't like your full band. You're just a producer of your own, right?
That is correct. It is a full project. I did have musicians on the CD.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Dirty Disciple just stepped back in, so we'll let him take the mic and kick the show off.
Dirty, let's go. Baby, I got your money.
Awesome.
What are we up to?
Nothing. We just kind of did a little bit of intro. We were bullshitting for a minute and just let you show up.
So it's a Merc Atoma or Atoma?
Okay, so the CD, the disc, nowadays the digital download, is Merc, the Master of Seven, which is a story in and of itself. Atoma is the character, and you see that character on the cover. So it's a superhero. Superhero.
Now, that's on your Reverb Nation page. That is the character that you developed.
That's correct.
And that's where we found you, is Reverb Nation. So shout out to Reverb Nation.
Shout out.
They love working with indie bands, and they got us you, so that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys submit on Reverb Nation, and we hear this stuff, and we're like,
yeah.
Shit.
Right.
You actually just said earlier you checked out our story, and so for 3 years we've been like grinding this, and we've had to reach out to artists up until now. And so this season is the first where we've actually been able to choose the artists thanks to Reverb Nation. They reached out to us and created this campaign for us.
Yeah, the whole format for Reverb Nation is pretty awesome, giving people opportunity worldwide. And then you get to hear different things worldwide too, and it's different music than you're hearing on the radio every day.
Oh, yeah.
Are you from San Diego?
I am not. So I live in Marietta, Temecula Valley.
Yep.
But my territory extends all the way through San Diego.
That's like northern San Diego.
It pretty much is.
You hit it.
Yeah, Riverside doesn't claim them. LA doesn't claim them. It's like, bastard childs of San Diego. Why not?
That's right. That's right.
All the military, they drive up there to live.
It's nice up there.
It's cheap up there.
Yeah, it is. It's both.
Not as much as it used to be, though.
No,
that's true.
Yeah, and I'm in the real estate too, so
there you go.
I know. Yeah.
So you're an independent artist, a producer.
That's correct.
And you do hip hop, funk, and
Solartainment. That's the whole that comprises.
I wrote that down in green.
The funk and the hip hop, right? Funk and the hip hop is integrated into Solartainment.
Where'd you come up with that name, Solartainment?
I'm always coming up with names. It was just a concept back in the day when I came up with the whole solar deal, and that was before solar was big.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, a lot of stuff that I said was going to happen is what's happening. And so the superhero that I got is a solar superhero. So if you compass everything together, it's Solartainment, because it's more than just the music that you see.
So you're Nostradamus with your music, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're predicting shit.
That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
And how long you been at it?
Music?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I first started, conceptualizing music, 1982. So I was a really young dude, and didn't know what I was doing. And the first tape I did was embarrassing, but a friend of mine was in the business, and he liked some of the concepts, and and then it grew from there. So I first started doing the solar concept back in like '85.
What's interesting, you said you did your tape and it sucks, but, and there's that but, and that's what is crucial, because if you're just starting out and you're trying and you're coming up with crap, it still shows behind whatever you made. It still shows your potential. And like you said, he saw something in that and he pulled it out and helped you grow. And now look at you. You got a solar hero.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it is the concepts of the music was cool, but I didn't have a clue of what I was doing from a studio perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you do vocals?
I do vocals, correct.
And you write your music?
I write the music.
And do you produce as well?
I produce the music.
So you're doing pretty much everything.
It's my stuff.
I
get people who can do the playing better than I can do it, but they can play what's in my head. So there you go.
So are you the one, the Merc?
I am the Merc.
You're the Merc. Where'd that name come from?
Wow, that name actually originated in sports.
Oh, really?
So
you are a big dude.
Yeah, I was a football player.
A tight end?
No, this was real young.
Oh,
so
okay.
you're talking about, I got that name, Pop Warner. So you know, as a little kid, but I was running, I threw for 1,000 yards, ran for 1,000 yards at age 10.
Wow.
And so because I had size, but I could outquick everybody.
Yeah.
The nickname Merc came up because my favorite football player was a guy named Mercury Morris.
Ah.
So then from there, it actually stuck as I started getting into energy, and you start talking about the sun and the planets, and then there's Mercury, and it just evolved from there.
Nice.
Right on. Let's listen to one of the songs.
Okay.
Which one do we got here?
Queen Hottie. There's a lot of story behind that.
So this is the Merc, the Master of Seven album featuring Atoma. Queen Hottie.
Right away, there's the funk.
I already like it.
Yeah.
To the party, I don't flex nobody. I just want Queen Hottie, hotter than hot. Most girlies are not. Spins fast like a top. What do you know? A real pro. She jams solo and hip to the flow. Dancing the beat, unique and sweet, with wings on her feet. Watch the clock strike 12. And before the bell sounds, she has mastered the hell. And she knows the guys are hounds. I know that our love line will set it right. Is a mistake, it's so true. I don't like to swear, but your loving will hit the spot. It's so hot. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. No, she's not naive. Read through the darkened themes, a loving light with extremes, shuns nightmares, kiss blessed dreams, following through when she parties too. Oh, good God, I'm loving you, outstanding, understanding, no arguments. I can't stand it, figure of speech. Oh, good God, sex on the beach, to hers a reach, jamming, slamming. Thank God I'm lamping. I know that our love line will set it right. Doubting is a mistake, it's so true. I don't like to swear, but your loving will hit the spot. It's so hot. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. Queen Hottie. Good God. On the dance floor, you know what for. You gotta get me a score. Flashing lights, both red and white. Depends on the height. DJ mix, no bag of tricks. Hottie is the fix. Higher, fire, my true desire. State of the art in my heart. I got the part. I'm ready for the start. Action, attraction, real satisfaction. I know that our love line will set it right. Doubting is a mistake, it's so true.
trumpet?
Muted.
Damn.
You know that. Not many people know that.
No. I was in band in high school.
Okay,
so
there you go.
Yeah. Is that a live trumpet?
Oh, it's sort of live.
That was awesome. Intense.
That was funky.
Tell me about that trumpet real quick.
All right, so the muted trumpet. So what we do is I learned this actually from a friend of mine who helped me do some demos before that, named Stephen Andrews. This dude, we call him Sinbad. And he taught me how to make sure you build your kit for your music before you start making your song, so you don't have to go searching for sounds. So we would actually play certain things into whatever system we were using, and then just perfect it as we played it through.
Wow.
Through the sampling. But everything that we did would be real into, at the beginning. The original would be real sounds.
Yeah, that's sound design. People don't even do that.
Nope.
It's important because that's where you get a lot of your original sounds from. Plus, you can take it even a step further and sell them.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially nowadays.
You can sell sample packs and all sorts of stuff.
I'm not a producer.
Right. And we were trying not to sell them.
Right.
We didn't want everybody else trying to sound like us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, this is 93.
That's correct.
Is that when this album came out?
Well, this is when we completed it, yeah. It was supposed to come out, but there were some issues on a legal channel. So
is it out now for sale?
we just released it for sale. I just released it for sale.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where can we find it?
Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and I think it's Deezer for right now.
Right
There's
on.
other opportunities coming forward.
Is it easier to search for it under The Merc?
No, it's easier to search for it. Merc, the Master of 7.
Merc, the Master of 7.
Yeah.
Cool. No K. MERC.
MERC, short for Mercury and Mercenary.
There you go.
What was your inspiration for the song?
Queen Hottie?
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to the lyrics in the song, I kind of took the concept from like a Cinderella story, right? It talks about making sure you get her before midnight and things like that. So it's kind of a funky, hip-hop, street Cinderella story from a cosmic world. All that combined into one. So, basically, I was in the energy game back then. All the songs kind of include energy focuses based on what was going to happen in the future. So it's a futuristic song.
Right on. And then it comes out now in the future.
Exactly.
And that's what's crazy about it is that, like, when it first hit, I was like, man, that's some old school feel, and that's, you did that 25 years ago, and that feel, that like everybody wants that sound again. It's incredible. And so you've been sitting on a gold mine for 25 years waiting to push this out, and now we have it.
It's amazing that you said that, because I listened to some of the artists now, Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones now trying to go back to the funk, and they trying to get a feeling that, they got to kind of listen to music to try to get it.
Yeah, and that's
I have it inside.
Exactly. You have to have that and built into that and grow into that like you have. That's incredible.
Especially with like your beats and rhythms, and who did the turntablism in there?
Yeah, so that combining it all. So what I don't like is music that you go see live, and then all they're basically playing the record.
Yeah.
Because the band can't really do anything with it because it's so empty. There's no musicianship to it, so it's kind of boring live.
Backing tracks, yeah.
We wanted that you go live, we got a show.
Yeah.
On a whole nother level, and it's even more powerful than what you hear on the recording.
So do you have you actually have a live DJ?
Oh, the scene's no joke.
Oh wow.
Oh, the scene's no joke. We got a double drummers. I got twin dancers look the same. I mean, you talking about a whole nother thing.
Where do you perform?
We haven't done it in a while. We holding back. Holding back.
Oh, geez.
We're holding back. We're getting ready for all this. We're coming out.
You're coming back out.
We're coming out. Something you haven't seen.
Ooh.
That's going to be big, though.
Yeah.
You know, there's some pretty big acts out there that are along the hip hop and funk sort of lines that actually have a full band. I mean, here's one for you, Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah.
He plays with a full band.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of other rappers and artists out there who just have a DJ, which isn't the same.
No.
No, it's not the same.
You know,
I mean, they can only fill up the sound. No, I'm not going to say anything negative, but
Dude, you can say whatever you want.
But you know what I'm saying? You can't. People want a show.
Yeah.
Where you can stop the music, you can manipulate the music, you can flexibility with the music. There's a lot of stuff you can do if you actually play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do a whole lot with a turntable.
Nope.
Well, live instruments do something for people too. Like you can tell when someone's performing on a live show or a live set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can feel the drums and the bass and
Right.
everything like that. So it's just totally different.
Yeah, it kind of all depends on what you've been influenced by.
Yeah.
So if you're more newer now, you're kind of influenced by a drum beat
Yeah.
and a little sample, and that's kind of what you got.
Well,
right? It's more
what are your
poet.
influences?
Oh wow! I mean, there was a guy. I mean, the people I met that helped me, you know, that kind of introduced me to the business and the music. Roger Troutman from Zapp. I knew him personally. Prince. I knew him personally.
Wow.
These are guys that kind of gave me some pointers. You know, George Clinton, George Cachadorian, a guy named Mitch McDowell, who's in a band called General Kane, who was kind of mentored by George Clinton and all, and he this guy was really, really funky.
So you've got the pedigree behind you for this stuff.
Yeah, real music,
Damn.
But you know, guys that knew more, they kind of helped you because, like I said, when I first started trying to make music, it was kind of all over the place.
That's an important thing too, because a lot of people these days who aren't musically trained, or who may know about playing the music but not the industry part of it or how to get out there with your music. If you can find a mentor like that who's made it in the industry and that's willing to teach you, that goes a long way because they know stuff that other people would never tell you. And there's industry secrets too that you can get exposed to.
Yeah.
So
You said a lot there. Their secrets are telling you don't get in it.
Yeah. Hell, it's not about the money. It's about the feel. You just hope to make some money.
You just hope to make some money, but it's really about the music if you're for real about it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
I could tell you're very much about the music. Now, the featuring Atoma. So is Atoma the guy singing the vocal that you portray?
Yeah, so the story on all the lyrics are coming from Atoma's perspective, right? Because we got comic books coming with it,
Oh, wow.
behind it, storyline, scripts. So everything that you're hearing from a lyrical standpoint is visionary, because we got visionary works
Yeah.
following it. So it's all from Atoma's perspective.
Nice. So it all, and eventually this whole, you have a mastermind plan of how this is all going to link in together. So this music, standing alone, is awesome, but there's more depth coming. Can you tease any more?
Yeah, so my solar company is the Solar Race, solar marketing company, right? So all of it was master planned, right? So you kind of have to know, one,
You must be a
where
control
energy's
freak.
going. Of course, of course. Right. You know, unless you're doing it my way, then
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so all of it's geared toward this whole vision for solar, as the solar industry was, quote unquote, was supposed to grow, and then it did.
Yeah.
So this whole master plan ended up working out where everything fell into place years later.
That means you were doing the right thing and patient enough to let it fall into place.
Yeah.
Not trying to force it like some of these fucking musicians do. Pardon my
Well,
language.
you can't do it if you got a concept that's supposed to go with a trend, a flow, right? So I kind of saw on the side of a house where you see the meter turning, and I used to sit up there with friends of mine 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would go, "You see that meter spinning on the side of your house?" And they would go, "Yeah." And I say, "They charge you when you sleep.
Yeah.
So you got to make money when you sleep, or make more money when you're awake than when you sleep, because that meter keeps turning." I said, that meter has to change. Something's got to change about it. There's another energy program. So I started searching back then.
You just like that is such a good metaphor for life, that no matter what you're doing, that meter is still running.
That meter's running, bro.
You've got to cover that meter
Even if you turn the power off, the meter still runs too.
Oh yeah, there's something. They're like, yeah, you have some ghost power in there. You need to look into your system. Okay, sure. You want to hear another track?
Yeah, let's hear another track.
How about this one? This is So Rare by Merc. That's the name of the song. I love
Rare?
shit like that. So Rare. It's so rare. It's called So Rare. Yeah. So this is So Rare from Merc, the Master of Seven, featuring Atoma.
Listen up, people. The new international star has arisen. A surefire hit is underway. So rare, like a rare diamond, with the cost of a gold and silver. Listen up to the king of royalty, Merc.
An introduction of the short shot thing. We're jamming to the swing on the beat. People just crowd the street. No room in the club, and you gotta move your feet. An education of the cosmic lift.
Not dangerous.
We're moving too swift on the floor. Walking right through the door. Be the life for the party, not an ordinary whore. An invitation of the common kind.
So wonderful.
I'm doing real fine in the place. Stepping right in your face. No shame in my game, and I won't leave a trace. A meditation on the higher plane.
Won't fall in love.
A dance in a rain, I'm too hot. Giving you all I got. Listen up to the speaker if you wanna know the plot. It's hard to believe, but you know it's true. That
So rare.
you know the jam is hot. Doesn't mean that I'm hot to try.
So rare.
I'm clocking the spot. Hope to God that it never does stop.
So rare.
On the mountain top, coming through with a new hip hop.
So rare.
I feel the cosmic slot. Run, give 'em what you got. An elevation to the highest height.
No demand.
I'm talking about the light in your mind. Listen to a lovely find. Difficult at the start to escape the blind. A dedication to the ancient dream.
Then we dance.
With the board of extreme, it's okay. As long as you can see the day. When we're all holding hands and we party on the Milky Way. A separation for the kind that kills.
The physical.
And powers of the skill will fall. Even if you're 10 feet tall. And you won't be invited to the royal ball. A celebration for the crew that wins.
That's all of us.
Who steps on the sin in our lives. Knowing we can still survive. So I got to be forgiven just to both come alive. It's hard to believe. You know it's true. That
So rare.
you know the jam is hot. Doesn't mean that I'm hot to try.
So rare.
I'm clocking the spot. Hope to God that it never does
So
stop.
rare.
On the mountain top, coming through with a new hip
So
hop.
rare.
I feel the cosmic spot. Run, give 'em what you got. Starting up a fire, well, flood can't hold down. Burning up desire, supporting my crown. Oh yeah, it's royal reality. Take my aim, my ray gun, and your mentality. Truth they say is a myth, but love is proven to spark together. So come with me and fly. Don't ever be afraid to give it a try. I got to get down, the party's attack. Grab a few friends and take them all back to a place where the dancers don't stop. Party up, party people, so the solar hot, so sweat. But don't get all wet, put the cards on the table and place your bet. There's a real or royal, you got to be loyal to reach the home. Pick up the telephone.
Good morning. Hi, Father. No, I haven't met Queen Hottie. Yeah, I looked a lot of places. Patience is a virtue, that's for sure. Yeah, we have a meeting at the Cosmic Billionaires Club. We have some guests who want me to make a clear statement. Comment.
Appreciation of the words I speak.
Impossible.
To be unique and you're right. But I focus on the light. And I see it in the day and I see it in the night. Affiliations on the dance floor.
We're some of us.
But ain't at the shore, no thing. Because we do create the swing. And we rap to the beat with a funky swing. Participation in the newest quest. You don't have to guess what you know. Take a we can stage the show. But we love one another and we go with the flow. A fucking nation and a black president.
Not fucking bull.
I want the best of real soon. Like you see the bride and groom in a real honeymoon. And the jump in the broom. It's hard to believe. You know it's true. That I'm
So rare. So rare. So rare.
give 'em what you got.
So rare. So rare. So rare.
Give 'em what you got.
So
Give 'em what I got when the lightning strikes. So many things moving, got to turn on the lights. If they can't keep up, don't worry. I got a new track coming, be there in a hurry. Rare like a steak to a poor man. Rare like a diamond in a garbage can. Quick that boom, it just burned. Witnessing all of the planets turn.
So that song was called So Rare. It was pretty funky. Nah,
It was, and I wanted to touch on it after your first song, but I'm gonna touch on it now. Is you're clean?
I was wondering if you'd hear that.
Yeah, I noticed it right away. But it's your music is clean, your lyrics are clean, and everything you say, you don't. There's nothing dirty. There's nothing rough. You're not. You don't have a shitty, catchy. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, yo, or anything like that.
Right.
Which it has its place, but in your music, it's like everything is clean and tight and controlled.
Family entertainment.
And family entertainment. There you go.
Solartainment.
there you go. That's a little bit more funk focused though.
Yeah.
Because that didn't happen really much back then.
No.
The content was a lot better and deeper and more fun.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's kind of hard to be, I guess, dirty and raunchy is one of the songs I talk about. Is you don't have to be dirty and raunchy, but because you're talking about energy, cosmic, right? So you're talking about a spiritual element, purity, yeah, more mental, intelligence.
Yeah.
So when you're writing a song, do you have a particular workflow? Like, do you write your lyrics and then make the music to that afterwards, or do you just have something pop into your head and start writing a beat?
It kind of just pops into the head. So I'm not a great bass player. I can play what I want to play and then get somebody that know what they're doing to go ahead and complete it for me.
Yeah.
But I always love the bass, so I kind of start in my head with the bass line first.
There's the funk right there.
That's the funk right there. So groups like Slave and with Steve Arrington and even before that. There's a friend of mine, he used to play for the Denver Nuggets, Pete Williams. He challenged me last week to come up 10 days in a row with 10 albums that we all grew up really liking. And I started putting out, Fatback Band and, Stevie Wonder and stuff where the bass lines were critical. Where if you're listening to a song and you're humming the bass line, just like the lyrics, and you basically making the bass line into a lyrical phrase, that's when it's hitting.
Yeah.
So, that was the purpose.
Boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Bass is actually a really important element that it doesn't get focused on a lot. A lot of times these days it's just one note, just doing a groove or something like that, or a couple of notes. But from a record, there's so much you don't want to do with the bass because it's a record,
right? Versus
live. And there's some guys, live that Larry Graham, and I mean, it's just when you go live, you let those musicians do their thing because you can start. You're not segregated to a 3-minute, 4-minute song flow.
Yeah,
you can do one jam for 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, you can break open that center and just let it hang as long as you want. As long as the crowd feels it. Once you see them, you just see them kind of wavering, you bring it back and hit them again.
Yeah, there needs to be more bass solos live.
Yeah.
I know a couple of guys who only they're in the band and they do all the solos on the bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guitarist doesn't even do any solos.
Wow.
Tear it up. I'm into the guitar. So I got a guitar player. This dude's no joke.
I mean, drop some names.
Yeah,
man.
it's Jerome Andrews. It was rumored by some folks. I don't know if the rumor's true, but when this cat was really, really young, 16, 17, Kiss, Gene Simmons and those guys were considering this dude.
Wow.
And now he's a black dude, right? But his lead guitar skills is out of this world.
That's okay. They wear makeup.
The people that's the point. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Man, we got the makeup, so we might make this happen. Now, it's rumored. I don't know if that's true. I want Gene Simmons sweating me. But that's what I heard.
But go ahead, Gene Simmons, sweat him. I think you wouldn't mind that. And you could pick his brain after he's talked to you.
Yeah. Well, I've talked to him before. Yeah.
Oh wow, man, you've got some deep pedigree going on.
You've been to some of those parties, huh?
No, I was never that cat. I was never that cat. That was probably part of the problem is I only would get so close.
Yeah.
To the business from that perspective. I knew everybody, but
Was that a choice?
Yeah, it was a choice. I took a friend of mine to a show. Some friends of mine was performing The Time, Morris Day.
yeah.
And all those guys. And so I took him, and Morris and those guys hooked us up VIP.
Well, those guys that's like a good, clean musician act anyway.
Those boys can play.
Yeah.
They can play. They can perform. And one of the girls who, I'm not going to say her name, but she pulled up in a limo, and she's opening the door, and she sees me coming by with my buddy. She's, hey, get in, Merc, get in. And my friend's looking at me like, man, you going with her? I go, man, there's no way in the world of getting in that limousine. I go, that's all right. We cool.
Yeah,
and kept on going. I go, no way I'm getting in there, bro.
If you don't know right now, if you're listening and you don't know what goes on in those limousines and those type of parties, you do some research. Watch a couple of movies that should be X-rated.
Deeper than some of the movies. Yeah, I'm not going in there.
So with are you sticking to that sort of genre and feel and sound for yourself? Or are you going to branch out a little bit?
Yeah, that particular sound is for that particular CD.
Okay.
Right. Each CD will carry its own different theme and style of music to fit that theme, because the storylines change. So, if you were to hear the 3 more CDs from now, none of them would sound alike.
But it still would be Merc, the Master of Seven?
No, Merc, the Master of Seven, it was that. Even one of the songs on there says he won't be coming back as Merc, the Master of Seven. Now, Atoma comes back, but Merc, the Master of Seven was its own thing. So if you would think about, what's that J.K. Rowling's thing, man,
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Where he's got different themes and things like that.
Yeah.
Except my music is not doing black magic and all that crap. You know what I'm
Maybe
saying?
you should throw that in there.
No. So you know what I'm saying. But each movie is a different concept. Sometimes they'll overlap.
Yep.
But it's a different concept. It's the same with my music. None of them will be the same.
Do you have that already planned out for the future and know what you're going to do, or are you waiting for it to come to you?
I'm waiting for it to come to me. Conceptually, I know where I want to go, right? Just like right now, we're working on this comic thing. I just did a little deal with the Stan Lee Foundation.
Ooh.
And so Junko Kabayashi over there and we've known each other 12 years. I met Stan Lee 12 years ago. We were going to do some stuff back then. And now we're his foundation that's ran by Junko, we're talking about doing some stuff as far as a digital comic book and some storylines and other characters to go along with Atoma.
Wow.
That's going to be developed.
That's cool.
Right on. Yeah, that's cool. It's good having side things like that, because you have a big story and you actually have more opportunity to for your fans to engage with you and become more part of your project.
And it gives you depth as well to just everything you do. So it increases, like you said, it gives the fans more to grab onto, but it also gives anybody a better way to understand who you are and your music and your feel and your style, because you've got so much depth, and you appeal to comic book fans, and they'll learn about your music, and that'll bring them onto the crossover, and vice versa. Your music fans will cross over and maybe into comic books and movies, and I'm sure you got plans for movies and maybe a TV show.
Yeah, and we'll let that pick up if the business kind of comes towards us. What we developed here, I did a partnership with Hope Worldwide. That's part of this thing. Hope Worldwide's in 60 nations, and they have special consultative status with the UN for education. So part of that hero character is for a literacy program, using the superhero to get kids to want to read as the carrot, and so that they could be helped. So our superhero is actually doing some superhero stuff in real life. Yeah, in real life.
That's cool.
Solar, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a big thing with music too. You know, that's what music's all about. It's not just about getting out there and, taking drugs and partying and fucking.
He just hit it right there.
You can do that.
Yeah,
but
well, that's a side benefit
that's
of
a
it.
perk. Yeah. You choose to.
Yeah, and
For some of us.
that's kind of where it's all at. I mean, if you don't have a cause, right? So, like you said, I took a couple courses in college. One was history of rock and roll. The other was history of jazz. and they start talking about like Bird and some of these guys and some of the singers and how they were all heroin addicts because they were trying to get this certain type of flavor, splitting notes and hitting octaves, and they were that musician thing where they couldn't reach that euphoria musically unless they were high. They weren't really connected from a lyrical standpoint to try to get there. Whereas for me, really, really young, I was always saying there's another place lyrically. There was another place lyrically. So I started kind of searching. You let your mind go, and to search to go into those kind of crevices of reality is easier said than done. But I feel like I was able to do it, and that's why I talk about universal concepts and cosmic concepts and break it down to today's reality, and it ended up fitting to where the solar industry is there. So you got to have if you got a cause, right? Because at the end of the day, my passion is clean energy. That's why it's clean music, like climate change, saving this world. You know, that's kind of what the call is to Queen Hottie. Let's get together and save this world, start spreading the light. So I was talking about the solar business 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And as an artist and with music, you can be very influential on people and also do a lot for people.
Yeah.
So
like once you start actually pushing yourself out there and you're a clean musician and you make it and you get up there, it sets like a beacon of hope for the people who want to be like that but feel that pressure from the other side of the industry, the darker side. They feel that pressure, and it's like you can stand alone as that superhero, as that beacon of light for hope, for change, and all that.
Well, it also shows that that's not the way, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to do that to be able to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And that helps the industry a lot because that's part of, you know, where it's gone dirty a lot. So when you're doing like superhero stuff and you're doing something for a cause for people through music, it's big. And people don't do that anymore. Like artists used to do that all the time. But
now they're trying, but they're stuck trying to do it independent, because when you have something good and the record labels like it, then they want to own every inch of you. And that's the way it is now. And so you've got these independent artists all over the place that can't get heard because if you don't go with us, we're going to push you down type of mentality that these labels have.
Well, it's great for you guys to have a show like this and a platform too that's helping independent musicians, you know, get themselves out there and do what they need to do. You know, and fortunately for me, I had some friends in the business who kind of went down the wrong road. They wouldn't let me do it. So
nice.
I'd go to situations and places where they'd be like, "You wait here."
Yeah.
And they'd go into a building or whatever the case may be, and I'd be sitting in a car for 2-3 hours, and then they come back and say, "Okay, cousin, let's go."
You ever seen that movie Walk Hard? the spoof on the Johnny Cash story called Walk Hard?
Yep.
Where he's like, every time, like almost, there's 4 times in the movie where he opens up the scene and the guy pretending to be Sammy Davis Jr. is in there doing drugs. He's like, "You don't want none of this, do we? You don't want none of this."
That's kind of how I was.
That's what I keep picturing. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But and good on your mentors too who are teaching you for that, because if you're doing that and mentoring somebody, that's what you do. You don't drag them along because that's your choice and you're doing it for certain reasons. But you know, you bring them up the right way and teach them the right things. If it happens later, that's their own choice. But
exactly,
you know that.
Yeah, you got to have a clear head. I mean, and fortunately, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Pomona, California. So I've seen a lot of the hard, you know, issues in life. And so when you see that, and then once I got into dealing with entertainment people and I saw some of those elements at a $10 million mansion, I'm like, it didn't fit.
Nope.
It didn't make sense to me, right? To this day, it just never made sense to me. I'm like, how did that element get into your $10 million mansion? I grew up with a military, you know, stepdad. So my dad's a biochemist. So I'm like, I couldn't even bring that element into Brooklyn, into a brownstone, let alone a $10 million mansion. But the street element that's on the gutter level is sitting up there in the corner, hanging out, partying with you guys. Like, I just don't understand it. So it just killed the fantasy for me. Okay, like, it's like seeing a guy on crack.
Yeah.
and he's on his hands and knees searching for cribbles,
a rock that he dropped
on the ground. And I remember, I'm very visual. So you ever see that movie called The Island of Dr. Moreau?
I don't think
You never
I've
saw
seen
that?
Seen it, nah.
Where I think it's Jan Michael Vincent, and they were on an island, and this scientist was turning them into half human, half animal.
Yeah.
And they were controlling their mind and all that stuff. And that's the first thing that entered my mind when I saw these guys crawling on the ground. I was like, oh, man, this is like Island of the Dr. Moreau. So me being a control freak, man, there's no way in the world you getting me to be out of control around a bunch of folks I do not know.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what
scary.
happens. That's the shit that happens. You lose yourself in those drugs and that alcohol business if you, especially combining the two. My God, that's a recipe for disaster.
There's a recipe.
Yeah, especially with people you do not know either. Like, that's when bad things
even
happen.
if I know you,
You might not trust you.
What are you smoking? Click, 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 click.
Right.
All right, I got money coming to my pocket
Like,
called
nah,
blackmail dollars.
Yeah, blackmail dollars. I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
So what's your objective with your music? What are you trying to achieve? Where you want to go with it all? And
Global domination.
The music is the soundtrack, which is what it should be, right? It's the soundtrack to the movement. The movement is solar.
Right.
Okay. So I give you an example. They estimate by 2020, the solar industry will be about $132 billion industry as a baby, basically still. It's an infant right now. It'll just be a little toddler at that point.
Yeah.
I did business investment advising to some of the members of the Saudi royal family, Qatar royal family, right? Saudi now, back in the day when I met them, it was all oil and gas, and now Saudi's about to do a $200 billion solar development.
Wow.
So the solar stuff is off the chain, right?
I just saw China. They just released theirs. They have a massive solar field that's in the shape of a fucking panda bear.
of a panda bear.
It's insanity. It's like, wow. Yeah. So they're
That's
turning
cool.
it into something that's not just about the solar anymore. And you're already jumped on that it's not just the solar industry. There's more things you can do with it.
So here's my challenge, like you said, the thing you're talking about, the vision, is I've told various people, even today, some of them really don't get it, but how to make solar pop culture. Like, that's the miss. Right now, it's just technology on the roof. People don't get it from a technical standpoint. They don't trust it.
Greenpeace yelling at you, you need to go solar. Yeah.
You need to go solar, but there's no pop culture to it. There's no entertainment, solartainment. There's no solartainment value to it.
Interesting. That's true.
That's what the vision is.
Huh.
So, and how are you using music to get that out? Is that what you're doing? Is using music to get that out there? Or?
That's the music is the soundtrack to the reality, which
Sounds
is
like
the
a-
solar industry and the solar quest is to fix this world.
Sounds like
of where
it's a desperate call. So maybe we should listen to another track called Desperate Moon.
There we go.
I knew that was going to happen.
What a segue.
I'm good at that. All right. So this is Desperate Moon from Merc, the Master of Seven, featuring Atoma. Is that a harpsichord?
Yes, sir.
I know my music.
He's on it. Muted trumpet, harpsichord.
I already love this song.
Romancing, kneeling to dancing. Time to take a little chancing with the Sunday heat for a rhythm. And you know that I gotta get with 'em for sure. I'm pushing right through the door. Some see a hole, but I see more. And under the light, a trip so fast, you know it's alright. Glancing before you start trancing. Girls walking by, sort of prancing. And then the showtime caught 'em on cue. Springtime will show 'em what to do, be in love with a newfound dove. Mystery plate, the answer is grub, eat it up. Now bypass the doom, introduced by Desperate Moon.
This still won't last for Desperate Moon. And the earth is paying the bills for his cartoon.
Nighttime, the moon is beaming in. This is
royalty, the royal court, with his dancing court gestures, holding down the fort, wearing golden vestures. See you at the newest flow.
Hope and honesty, peace and harmony will not be dead.
No, it'll never die.
The sun has conquered thee. With the brotherhood,
Will not be dead.
This style never gets old to me. The 90s hip hop, it never gets old to me.
Yeah,
That's my favorite genre.
Yeah. 90s hip hop.
mine too. Yeah,
Yeah.
And old school funk.
right.
Generation, it's time for the nation. Get hip to the situation. It's a hardcore dream that we're living. Timetable will blessed is forgiven. I know that we're seeing the flow. Racial boundaries melting like snow, cause the heat won't taste defeat. We're not desperate moons right off his feet.
this feeling won't last for desperate mood. And the earth is paying the bills for his cartoon. This feeling won't last for desperate mood. And the earth is paying the bills for his cartoon. This feeling won't last for desperate mood. And the earth is paying the bills for his cartoon. This feeling won't last for desperate This feeling won't last for desperate mood. And the earth is paying the bills for his cartoon.
There you go. That was a sick intro, by the way. I like that. Where'd
Yeah.
you get the inspiration for that? It's kind of like Renaissance-y, medieval, and then it popped into this song.
I'd have to admit I got it from my boy Prince. It's a track that I don't think anybody's ever heard. It's probably somewhere deep in the vault where he was trying to do this intro sort of similar, but the song he was using it for was a little bit kind of crazy. But that was the inspiration behind the intro.
Nice.
It's cool. The whole song was super retro 80s synth style, like
Yeah.
old school synths and pads and
Yeah.
everything in there and the bells. And
What were you using for your instrumentation? Like what synthesizer?
Oh wow, I can't remember that.
Oh, okay.
we're using like a
D50s probably. Who knows what a Lin? I don't know what we were using back then. If I had to go duplicate it and do it from scratch right now, I couldn't do it.
Are you sticking with that style, the 90s hip hop style, with your new stuff that you're going to be working
No.
on? No.
No.
You did say that kind of already, but
Yeah. Well, like I said, there won't be. The only similarities will be that some of the concepts, because you're still dealing with the superhero character.
I think you should do kind of a retro callback for him later down the road. Bring the Merc back.
Yeah. And you don't be telling my story. Giving away the secrets.
vision, bro. I got visions.
tapping in. He's
He's
tapping
not
in.
coming back.
He said so, but that's what they say about a lot of what was that famous quarterback who said I'm retiring 5 times.
Yeah, like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, the
last
Rolling
tour.
and the Who. Yeah.
No, no more tours.
So in terms of a studio, do you have a studio at home, or do you go and get into studio professionally somewhere?
Yeah, I go to different studios. Fortunately for that particular CD, because at the time I didn't have the funds to do that. My sister-in-law at the time, she ran a studio, so down in Hollywood. So I had, with the pre-production stuff we did, me and some of the guys at some of the houses. But when we actually put it together, it was at a studio called Alumba, out of Hollywood.
Nice.
And I kind of got the hook up there. So
Well, we got a hook up here at Second Story Studios. This is Chelsea Scott's studio, and he's actually letting us chill out here for free. So that's pretty sick.
that's how you do it.
Yeah, we're trading advertisement for a quick little spot to do this in.
Go ahead and hook him up. Give him a spot. Give him a spot.
Oh, yeah.
Drop it. So Desperate Moon is so interesting because I was in Minnesota at the time, Minneapolis, and there was a group, Bonnie Boyer, who's passed away. She was a keyboardist for Prince and the vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to find a group to perform at his 30th birthday party. And we had listened to 10, 15 different acts. Nothing was really happening. And so they wanted to go home, and there was one more band we hadn't seen. And I told Bonnie, we got to go see this last band because we still don't have a group for this boy's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And so she convinced Sheely and some of the other ones to go, Levi Caesar, right? So we went, and this group was still waiting for us. So had we not gone, they just would have been waiting there. It would have been a bad look.
Uh-huh.
And they were lined up. It was inside of a church, and they were lined up, all uniformed, not wearing uniforms, but just uniformly lined up. And it was the Sounds of Blackness.
Huh.
And Sounds of Blackness, nobody knew them, except in Minnesota. They hadn't made a record or anything like that. So we listened to them. Within 5 minutes, I was like, man, that's it right there. They're awesome. So they performed at his 30th birthday party.
Nice.
And that's how they got known. Because from there, that first demo of Desperate Moon, a singer from the Sounds of Blackness sang some of the tracks, and a friend of mine named Gary Kennebrew. And so that's the first kind of tape they had from that perspective. And then Jimmy Jam and Terry went and got them, and Prince did some stuff with them on the Batman soundtrack, and then they became household name. But Sheila gets the credit because she's the famous one. She gets the credit for I'm just somebody.
Nice.
So, in all these songs that we heard so far, is it the same backup vocalist that you had?
Yeah, so that's Adrian. I think she goes by Adrian Grant now, but she was the one who ran the studio, and phenomenal. I had a few other different songs. I had a few other people, but she's the main background vocalist.
Right on. So is that going to change for future stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You want different sounds.
Everything's going to be different for the next.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha. Can you give some advice to producers out there who are trying to make it, or just starting out, or might have been doing it for a while, or just
Yeah, like
stuck?
what would be your one takeaway from everything that you've been doing that you would want to impart?
It kind of just depends on where you're coming from. So I'd say the first thing you have to do is come up with the identity that you want, right? They say that in sports. If your team doesn't have an identity, you don't have a buy-in culture. So you kind of got to do the same thing from a music perspective. What's going to be your thing that's going to carry you throughout, not just one album and one song. I got one song and it's about this, and that's kind of it. It's like, well, what's your whole game plan about? So I say come with a focus first and foremost about what your thing is going to be. And then if it's inspired for real, stick to it. Not based on money.
Yeah.
Stick to it. That's your art.
That's a good takeaway.
Yeah, just for sure. I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to give us some plugs where people can find you, or?
Well, obviously,
first Reverb Nation. You got to hook up Reverb Nation.
yeah.
So you go to Reverb Nation, or if you search it online, you just type in Merc, the Master of Seven, and I'm sure Reverb
All you
Nation
got to
will
do
pop
is
up.
Merc and Atoma. That's all I've been searching
There you go.
for. Merc, Atoma.
Yeah,
I did that
yeah.
too when it
Yeah.
came up. Yep.
Yeah, so you'll get it on Reverb Nation there. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Deezer. You can find it on Apple Music. You can find it on Spotify. But my website is kind of where everybody goes, right? I feature stuff on LinkedIn. I'm big on LinkedIn. I got like 30,400 followers on LinkedIn or something like that.
Nice.
So because business, right? I'm a businessman. So LinkedIn, you'll find some stuff. But slrd.net is where everything is.
Nice.
That's the portal.
And can people follow you on there, sign up, and get information about what's to come, or when your new stuff does come out?
Yeah, so you can subscribe on slrd.net to know kind of what's happening, because it's more than just only the music, right? There's clothing. We have our own clothing lines. There's sports. I did a DVD with AC Green training kids in basketball. So there's a DVD with AC Green and I on the training DVD that's on that site. So there's a lot of different features there.
Nice.
Are you gonna do any vinyl for this record that we listened to?
Being my cousin is one of the most famous DJs around the world out of New York, named Tony Humphreys. That's my cousin. He doesn't play my style of music. He's in the house, but he still spins records, or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, but it would have to be some remix stuff. You remix this and add some other elements to it to go and really pump up in a club or something.
Cool.
The guys in the tour circuit in Australia would love that. They're all about that style of stuff. It's super cool.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I spent a lot of time in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and places like that, and other places in the world, especially Germany too. Other places like that are still into UK. They're into that kind of thing.
Yep,
Nice.
there's big markets there.
Yeah.
All right, so
Rodney.
Atoma,
Rodney.
Merc.
Right. Rodney's lost in the shuffle, right?
He's like, this guy's name is actually Rodney. Yeah.
It is. So, do people actually call you Rodney?
Well, yeah, because I'm in the business, that's what it is, right? They don't run around. Friends. Like, if you go on Facebook or whatever, you actually see sometimes where they still say Merc. They Merc. That's what they say. But as far as business and things like that, is Rodney H. Dixon.
There you
There you go. All right, thanks for joining us. Thank you for sharing your talent and your music with us. I love that stuff, so I'm definitely buying that.
Hell yeah. It's a good album,
I'm going to be
man.
DJing that.
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it.
So until next time on the Dusty Futon, my name is Dirty Disciple.
I'm Big John.
We'll
And there's Rodney.
Yeah. Now Rodney sound funny.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys.
Big thank you to Rodney Dixon, a.k.a. Merc, the Master of Seven, for coming out and taking a seat on the Dusty Futon with us. And thank you to Reverb Nation for connecting us to Rodney. Major thanks and kudos to Chelsea Scott of the Faux Fighters, Dave Grohl's doppelganger, for loaning us his studio space at Second Story Studios. Thank you to Dirty Disciple of Noise Cartel Records for hosting this episode of The Producer's Corner. I'm Big John, engineer, co-host, editor, and producer of this production of the Dusty Futon LLC. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to get all the newest episodes. If you love what we are doing and want to support our cause like Rick, please consider going to patreon.com/thedustyfuton and pledging to support us for as little as $1 a month. You can find out more about us at www.dustyfuton.com. Boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I love bass too, especially like even in the newer produced stuff with those deep, like solid basses. I have a Nissan that's a Nismo, so it's got that top line even sound package. I've got an amplifier and a subwoofer in the car, and I crank it up and just get that vibration, and I just love that feel.
Yeah, you got a Nismo. You would love go to my website. SLRD.net. Sam, Larry, Robert, David.net. It actually stands for Street Legend Rodney Dixon because I was a basketball player.
Oh,
But,
SLRD.
SLRD.net. And you'll go to one of the pages. I think the page on that one would be auto racing because I'm big into auto racing. And there's a partnership I did with the guy who runs a thing called Monaco Luxury TV. And we have a feature from my website that'll direct you exactly to Nismo in Monaco for racing. They have some Nismo stuff that's on a whole nother playing field. So
My Nismo,
you would love it.
You'd be surprised. My Nismo is the Juke.
Yeah,
That tiny little shoe.
Yeah.
It's got a freaking turbocharged engine and a 6-liter or 6-speed transmission. That thing hauls.
Yeah. You'll love it. Yeah.
All right, stop talking about your
Yeah,
Nismo.
I know. Let's move on. Let's talk about music.
Back to the bass.
Yeah.